I would like to call the the April 10th, 2028 Airport Commission regular meeting to order. May we have roll call, please?
Chair Feakin,
Here.
Vice Chairman Elga,
Here.
Zerl, Bielfeld,
Here.
Caldwell, Knizik,
Here.
Wicker, Student Representative Bowling. All right, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Before we get to agenda approval, I would like to bring attention to the laydown material. Recommending council amend the Kenai Municipal Code 2105-805 airport fuel flowage fee to remove the set amount in code and instead refer to the annual update schedule of rate changes and fees. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with the laydown material?
Move. Second.
Thank you. Is there any other revisions to the agenda? Are there any objections to approving the agenda as revised? Hearing none, agenda is approved. Scheduled public comments, we have none. And are there any members of the public? We have none, so no remote attendees, do we? Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the March 13th, 2025 minutes?
Move.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any revisions to the minutes? Okay. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. Unfinished business, we have none. New business. May I have a motion to recommend that council approval of the amended Kenai Municipal Code 2105.085 airport fuelage flow fee?
Move.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a staff report?
This memo supports removing the exact fuel flowage fee in the code. When reviewing the code 2105-0885, it hadn't been updated in a long time, and so is referring to an exact charge in code, and it's been being adjusted in the rates and fees. So we just suggest, what this does is takes that exact amount and we'll update it in the rates and fees as needed. So the two documents didn't jive, and so what this does is updates it and makes everything jive together. So the airport supports this. Does the Airport Commission recommend council amend Kenai Municipal Code 2105-085 airport fuel flowage fee to remove the set amount in code and instead refer to the annually updated schedule of rates, charges, and fees?
Okay. If there's no discussion, I would like to look for unanimous consent and say if there's no objection. Seeing none, thank you. Okay, moving on. Recommending council award a special use permit to Rebecca, Boucher? DBA The Fishing Grounds LLC for operation of a gift shop inside the Kenai Municipal Airport Terminal. May I have a motion to recommend council approval?
Second.
Okay, staff report.
Yeah, so Rebecca's been in here a couple years now. Seems to be doing a good job and people enjoy the gift shop. She's also proposing to continue paying 15% based on monthly gross sales. It's my recommendation that we issue the special use permit for another year to her. And so does commission recommend council approve the special use permit to the Fishing Grounds LLC?
Move. Second.
Okay, looking for unanimous consent, seeing no objection. Okay. Recommending council award a special use permit to the State of Alaska Division of Forestry and the Fire Protection for 30,000 square foot of apron space for airport loading and parking. May I have a motion?
Second.
Report?
Yep, so like the title said, this is for 30,000 square feet of apron space to the Alaska DNR Forestry. The permit would be from May 1st through August 31st of this year. Does commission recommend council approve the special use permit to the State of Alaska DNR Forestry?
Just a question, did Everett's ever say when they're going to break ground on their project?
No, they're still working on their site plan, and they need to submit that and sign their
Yeah, I
lease
was
still,
just
so.
wondering if maybe the construction might hinder the DNR with their activities, but,
I don't think so.
okay.
Any further comments, questions? Okay, looking for unanimous consent. Okay, thank you. Can we have airport managers report?
Okay, so I want to just give an update, first of all, on the airport master plan. It's continuing to move ahead, and this month, or this last month's been a lot about collecting data since the public meeting. They're still continuing to reach out to people. Hopefully, you guys have got interviewed, or if you want to get interviewed, you still have a chance to obviously fill out those surveys. Also, 90% of the FAA equipment locates have been completed. And the airport provided a lot of information, like the last 10, 15 years of fees. We had to go pull those pull those up and get those to HDL so they can see the changes that have been made. So it's just a lot of collecting data. HDL has been working also on the draft inventory report and building assessment report. They're preparing those, and the airport expects to have those sometime this month or next month. So they're starting to put everything together, and we'll start getting documents. What else? I attended the Blair Forum. This was in Colorado. It was a good opportunity. There were also 24 other airports there, which allowed to gain some insight on the trends that are happening in the industry and potential opportunities. Met with 5 different airlines personally to discuss future service in Kenai, and one of the things they just really hammered on was staying in touch and looking at the long term and looking at their long-term growth plans. So that was good. Also, Debbie's Bistro opened up, so go out there, support them. People have been coming out, so glad to have a restaurant back in the airport. Additionally, those QR codes that were requested for the floatplane basin, they're up now and they go to the airport website. So that's something we have control of, and hopefully they don't, well, I mean, they shouldn't disappear again like that since we have access to that now. And also I want to invite the airport commission to the airfare and pancake breakfast. The pancake breakfast is June 7th, 8 to 10 a.m. And then the airfare portion in Kenai is June 14th, 12 to 3. And if you guys would like to have a booth there again, I think it was good last year, so let us know. And anybody who wants to volunteer, always encourage and appreciate it. That's all.
So what was your impression from talking to the airlines? Any interest or just,
Yeah, there's interest from some. A lot of it, they're also monitoring, what's going on right now with the economy, seeing a little bit of slowing down, but they're interested in coming out and visiting, so that's good.
well, I'm pretty sure everybody's interested in coming to visit Alaska.
Yeah.
Was there any discussion at all with the airlines about or did anybody mention the potential for the LNG project? And additional traffic to that?
Yeah, there was talk about that if it's happening, but they're not going to base their decisions yet to come here on that, but they're monitoring.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I have no report, so we'll move on to Councilman Daniels.
Thank you. Let's see here. Council's been busy. What do we want to start with? A couple things from the Airport Commission. This wasn't from the commission, but just an interesting side note. Preferred Plumbing was able to purchase the lots they were on. It used to be an airport lease lot, I believe, at one point, and able to purchase that. So that was a good deal for the business for them. What else has been going on? We've also adopted and improved the Aleutian Airways agreement, so that's will be very exciting. And I think it's a fencing contract for engineering services. That was also approved at the March 19th meeting. Well, time flies. Then approved the fuel tank deal for River Rock Outdoors. That happened at a meeting, and the memorandum agreement for Great Lake Consulting and training for the fire facility. So busy meeting that week, and there's other things on here that are less exciting. So any questions, let me know. Let's see here on the 2nd, sorry, a little less on that meeting. From the airport perspective, we were, mostly just talking about budgeting, and we did have another interesting presentation of nothing to do with airport, but it was interesting. Land donation requests for some housing projects, since there's for lower income housing, fixed income housing. That was a good presentation there. But I did want to say this: appreciate airport staff tremendously for letting me take a brief tour of the airport. I'm not a pilot, so I was not familiar with all the ins and outs. There's a lot more that happens out there that meets the eye. If you just go to the airport and hop on a plane, great. But when you're actually going out there and seeing all the grounds and all the fencing and the float basin, I've never been back there. It was an experience. So I'm very thankful that the airport staff was able to let me do that and get more familiar. So I have a little bit more of appreciation and understanding of just some of those things that you all have to deal with as pilots. So it was a good tour. And that's all I got. If you have any questions, let me know.
I do have a question mentioning that. Are you going to recommend maybe to other council members that haven't done that to encourage them to take a tour?
100%. One of the council members was supposed to join us that day and wasn't able to, but I think it'd be good for all council to take a look and see, because we've approved these things and we don't, we just know from a high level, but it just gives everybody a better idea of what's going on out there. And the airport's busy, and I didn't realize how, I shouldn't say full is the right word, but what was it, one lease lot left available? Is that what you told me? Sorry, Mr. Abels. Yeah.
That's correct. That's open right now.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I think there's a lot going on. So it was definitely eye-opening, and definitely would recommend it to anyone. So.
Anything else?
Are we going for comments?
Yeah.
All right.
The subject came up with the Hangar Association. And I remember we briefly discussed about 2 or 3 months ago the difference between private hangars and commercial hangars. And starting to maybe look at making a designation as private hangars separate from commercial hangars and what the lease rates would be. Part of that is that we have an interest because Derek's negotiated lease for the groundwork he did and all that stuff is coming around, I think, in 2 years. And so we're wondering whether there's going to be any ambition to start looking at personal hangar leases as opposed to commercial hangar leases, especially if we're trying to get more personal aircraft here in hangars.
Is that, I'm not familiar with is there a distinction between, or is it just hangar lease now and you want to get a distinction?
Well, that's right now the hangars are looked at as commercial, but the way I understood it is that there's two types of property. There's commercial and then there's private. But there's no designation for private property or lease private property as far as an airport hangar. So it goes into the commercial portion of
Light
it,
industrial type stuff.
however it's done. And we're talking about trying to get more private hangars in and private pilots here, like Soldotna has. And looking at some of the lease rates, of course, we're interested in seeing if there's a lease rate that can be negotiated that might not be commercial.
And I think, I don't know, I don't fly, but I think you would want to separate your commercial to one side and your private to another.
Right. So, but right now, the only private is residential, and we're not allowed to live there.
Darn it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's something like that would be get into the AIP funding. If it was, that would be a question for that, I guess.
Well, as far as us, we lease the land based on the appraised value, so that doesn't necessarily change between.
But by the same token, the question came up.
I guess that's new things to think about. Okay.
We're not, I think we're 2 years almost, I think it's 2028. But it's not only of interest to us personally, but interest that we're going to start developing more personal or private hangars where somebody wants to build.
With that in mind, I'd be curious what Merrill Field does. There are quite a few private hangars and, of course, considerable number of commercial operators too. So curious whether they have any different rates.
Our example, I think, was Soldotna, because I don't know the same thing, whatever, but Soldotna's rates are less. So that's what draws a lot of people over.
Is there a difference in the rates, commercial?
I don't know. It's,
They're definitely cheaper, but,
you're talking, I have not had time to research that.
okay. Well, Soldotna
I'm
is
just-
largely private and missionary. Very few, just what, 2 or 3 commercial hangars?
Is missionary considered commercial?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Yeah, I believe if you ask the FAA, it'd be dependent on their air carrier certificate, but I agree. I think this would be something to consider when looking in the master plan, looking at a separate site for T hangar type setups.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think, I don't know, but I would assume MERC is, because it's an FBO, And they fuel aircraft, they work on aircraft, they got a parts store that's open 6 days a week. That maybe they're a little bit different than SOAR, which just basically hangars their airplanes there. But, yeah, Samaritan's Purse, yeah, same thing, yeah, Samaritan's Purse, yeah. But, as far as the lease rates go, yeah, it's an interesting thought.
Well, it's just, this stems from a short discussion we had, I think, 2 months ago about looking at that, or questioning.
It might be a question of zoning as well. I don't know. Because we went through the whole thing about the light industrial, having it all zoned light industrial.
And I think that's where it was, is that we're either commercial or we're residential. And that would have to go through the council.
Like
And
commercial.
planning and zoning, I guess, has authority and not advisory, so.
Well, I guess food for thought. So since we're kind of out of order, any other commissioners have anything to discuss? Okay. We're going to skip public comments since we don't have any, and our next meeting's going to be May 8th. Will everybody be here?
I gotta look, I may not.
Okay. And
I think I will be. I'm going to a meeting in New Orleans, and it's the end of April, I don't know.
we'll stay and have some fun.
We're going early to have some fun.
There you go. Okay, well, if we don't have anything else, we're adjourned.
Yeah, like how you run